Hi, so something a little bit different today. This is going to be a kind of product upgrade teardown video. So I've been using my TOMLOV 4K-AF Max microscope for a while now, but one of the problems that I've got, which probably won't affect everybody, is synchronising the video with my overhead camera here. So I emailed TOMLOV and I asked would it be possible to add sound to this model. So what they've done is they've sent me this little subboard here, which they've included a little microphone on. So hopefully what the plan is, we're going to upgrade this. We'll fit this little board down here, but we'll also have a poke around inside of this. We'll see what makes it work and see if there's anything like any debug headers or anything like that, which might be to do a little bit of hacking with it as well. So here's a little bit closer view of the little board that they've sent us with the microphone on there. And it does have a couple of numbers on it. Let's see if I can angle that a bit better just for the light. So it's got 5E02 9W22 on it. And it seems to be soldered to the capacitor on the SD card here for power. And then it goes to these two little points here, which are just next to the SD card, just in case anybody else wants to try and upgrade one of these to add sound to it. This is how they've done it. And under here there's just a couple of, it's just a coil of wire basically, just where they've extended the wires here. And they've just coiled it up here and put a bit of tape on to hold it. I did have a look under there in case there was any additional components, but not. Right, let's pull the microscope apart then. Right, I've got it off the stand. I really like this microscope. It's actually really good. I'll just pop the SD card out here. And I've just noticed it looks like there's a socket or a cover on the back here. It looks like for an 18650. So it's that sort of size. So I wonder if I can add a battery backup. Actually, yeah, it's got the 18650 in already. 2000 milliamp hours. I always use it plugged in, so I don't really use it on the battery. So maybe one thing that we've got to be kind of mindful of when we're taking it apart, that it might have power going to various parts of the board. So I'm going to move these screws around the outside first. I've never used the USB socket on the back here because I just used the USB-C socket for the power adapter. So perhaps you can save to external flash drive or something as well. Might be something I'll have to have a look into. But one thing that I do like about this is the auto focus function. You just hit that and it automatically focuses in, where all the other microscopes that I've used in the past you've got to manually focus in. So I like that feature really a lot. Right, let's see how this comes apart then. I guess I'm going to have to take this front bezel off. Now I've actually been into this some time ago because I did try to add a microphone myself, but I was unsuccessful. But that was quite some time ago, so I can't quite remember how this came apart now. I should really find my little spudging tool. Right, I'm back with a spudging tool. Now, have I missed a screw under there? Yes. This is the built-in illuminator, but I use an external one. Right. Right, so we've got a little connector here. Let's just pop that out. Get this front bezel out of the way. And that's the LCD screen. So I'll just unplug that as well, get that out of the way. And this is the main board here. And that looks like one of those eye catch chips. I think they're used a lot in dash cams. So that's a V35AX. And this must be where the battery's connected to. It looks like we've got a serial flash chip. Just there. I'll see some kind of power management round here. Some RAM. And I guess that's going to be a lithium battery charger IC possibly. Looks like we've got two crystals there. One will be the main crystal and the other one's probably a real-time clock crystal. And I guess that's the connector that goes to the actual camera on the microscope side. And that one just goes to the front panel here. So there's actually two front panels. I was just wondering what this connector was for that I've just unplugged. And that's for this little thing here, which is actually a little touch slider for adjusting the illumination LEDs on the camera. So what I might do first then is just desolder this wire here. We'll put a bit of tape around it so we're not going to short anything out. So I'll just plug the iron on. I'll just grab a bit of tape to put around that. And now I can safely desolder the positive wire. Oh, that must be the cable that goes to the board at the back that we actually need to replace. So it looks like we need to undo these 4 screws here. We need a smaller screwdriver. Let's try this one. I'm just going to undo this connector. Let's see if I can flip this board over now. I need a bit smaller tape on these wires because it's going to be a bit awkward. I'm just going to try putting a bit smaller piece of tape on these wires. Just do the same with this one, I think. Let's see what's on the back of the board then. Not a great deal, just a few discrete components really. Right, so this is the other board that we need to change, which is down here. And there's the microphone that I added, which didn't actually work. So let's get this board out. So what I did was, I thought when they said they could send us a board, I thought, well, I'll see if I could just alter it myself first. So what I did was I found an old microphone here and just coupled it up to these 2 points here, because that looked like where there was a microphone, or where there could have been a microphone fitted. But unfortunately it didn't work, so I guess it needed power, or a powered microphone to go there, which is a bit of a shame. Right, let's pop this new board in. I guess it just goes in like that. Yeah, they said that one of the reasons why they didn't add a sound rip was because it didn't record very well, obviously with the microphone being internal. And it wasn't really a feature that a lot of people required, so that's the reason why they didn't include it. Right, I'll put these two wires back through. I'll try it because there's not a lot of cable here. Right, let's see if I can pop those 4 screws back in. So I wonder if there's any serial debug or anything on this. There's a couple of connectors there. There's one marked ISP. And one marked PWR. So I wonder if those have been for LEDs possibly. Looks like we've got a connector here, or a space for a connector. It looks like there may be some kind of header here. I'm not sure what goes here, but it looks like possibly some option for, looks like a Wi-Fi module perhaps. Because that looks like it could be a connector for an antenna. And that looks the sort of footprint that I would expect for a Wi-Fi module. So that's what that might be for. There might be an option for Wi-Fi on this board. I wonder if it's worth hooking something up to here to see if we've got any serial data on there. See if there's any kind of bootloader or something perhaps. And I think the same chip here, or very similar chip, was used in the AV video capture device that I looked at. Actually looks like there's some pads under here. A couple of test pads possibly. So I couldn't resist having a bit poke on this connector here. I thought, well, you know, is it a debug connector or not? I think it was this pin here was the only one that you got a brief flash of data on, and literally that was it. Even if I zoom in and out here with the microscope, or I hit the auto focus button, we don't seem to get any more activity. So I would have thought we'd be getting some kind of debug messages on the scope here, but nothing even when we switch it off. That's it. You only get a brief flash at power on, and that's it. I mean, I could hook it up to the laptop. Well, I put the microscope all back together, but unfortunately I still didn't have any sound recording. So I thought I'd try hooking up this, which is a serial to USB adapter. And what that does, hopefully we should have some signals on this debug connector here that we can then feed into the laptop using the USB plug. And we should be able to have a look on a terminal window or such to see what data has been spat out here, see if we can see any debug messages or anything that might help. So let's go over to the laptop screen and let's see what happens when we switch this on. Right, I've got it plugged into the laptop via the USB. I've got the wires connected up here. So let's switch it on and let's see what we get on the laptop screen, if anything. And we do indeed get something. I'm just trying a few different keys on the laptop here just to see if we get any response back. But it doesn't seem that we are. I'm actually sending data there when I press a key. You can see the light flickering on the adapter just there. So it doesn't seem like it's receiving any data from us, but let's have a look, because the console here might be disabled. So what can we see here then? Can we see anything interesting or any errors or anything? I've just noticed something here, Sony IMX458, so I guess that must be the sensor that they're using for the camera. Let's just see if we can see anything else. There's something there saying audio PLL turn off, so I'm not sure what that's about. But apart from that, I don't think it's really telling us too much. Right, some progress. Now, it's been a couple of months since TOMLOV actually sent me this board and sent me the instructions on how to fit it. So I emailed them to say I was fitting the board and I still wasn't getting any sound. And what they asked, they said, did you remove the resistor? So I looked back on the instructions again, and there's a little resistor here, which you have to remove as well. So what I did, I've just desoldered it and just swung it over to one side. So it's actually still attached to the board just by this pad here, but it's no longer. I mean, that looks like a ground pad there, so it's obviously grounding out this line here, whatever that one's for, which seems to go down to the board. So perhaps that's why I wasn't getting any sound, because this line here was always grounded. So now we'll put it back together again and we'll see if I get sound recording on it now. So I've just clipped the case back together. I'm just putting the screws back in now. And one thing that they mentioned in the email as well is that they're bringing out a new version of the AF Flex, which is the autofocus flex version of the microscope. And what they said was they've listened to customer feedback, and what they've done is, instead of the ring light on the end here, now they've got two LED lights which are on sort of movable arms, so you can set the lights on different angles so you can see things like chips and that better. And they've also improved the actual articulated arm that the microscope goes on. So if you're interested in one, I'll leave some discount codes in the video description. Now unfortunately it's not available in the UK yet, but it is available to US customers, so if anybody wants to check it out, feel free. Right, got it all back together. So hopefully it's recording sound now. So testing 1 2 3, testing 1 2 3. So what I'll do, I'll pop the SD card in the computer and we'll just check that it's actually recorded something. So testing 1 2 3, testing 1 2 3. So what I'll do, I'll pop the SD card in the computer and we'll just check that it's actually recorded something. And that's the board that I've just taken out there. Right, so that worked pretty much as expected. So that's excellent. That means it should be a lot easier for me now to synchronise the video footage from the microscope with the footage from the overhead camera. So I hope you found this video interesting. If you did, please give it the big thumbs up, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one.